Taehyun Kim stood in the long line at Station Viridian 9, watching alien creatures of every imaginable shape and color pass through the immigration scanners. Some had scales, others had fur. Some floated, others walked on 6 legs. After 800 years in frozen sleep, everything felt like a dream. He clutched his old Earth documents in his sweaty hands. The papers were ancient, printed on real paper instead of the holographic displays everyone else carried. The woman at the information desk had looked at them like they belonged in a museum. Maybe they did. Next, a mechanical voice called out. Taehyun stepped forward. The scanner was a simple white platform with a glowing blue panel. Above it, a holographic display showed friendly text in dozens of languages. He found Korean among them. Place hand on scanner for bio-verification. He pressed his palm against the cool surface. The blue light traveled up his arm, warm and tingling. For a moment, everything seemed fine. The scanner hummed pleasantly. Then it stopped. The blue light turned red. The pleasant hum became a harsh alarm that echoed through the massive station. Taehyun jerked his hand back, but the damage was done. The holographic display flickered wildly before showing words in bright red letters. Genome match, terminated program, human. Heavy metal doors slammed down around the immigration area. Security drones dropped from the ceiling, their weapons aimed at Taehyun. He raised his hands slowly, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst. "Don't move!" someone shouted. A tall, crystalline creature approached, its body made of transparent geometric shapes that shifted colors as it walked. "You are under arrest for violation of Galactic Code 1 Alpha." "I don't understand," Taehyun said, his voice shaking. "What did I do? I just want asylum. My ship arrived yesterday. I have documents." "You exist," the crystalline being said coldly. "That is your crime. I am Commander Velthar. You will come with me now." Guards grabbed Taehyun's arms. They weren't rough, but their grip was firm. As they dragged him through the station, thousands of aliens stopped to stare. Some pointed. Others backed away. A few looked scared. But what frightened Taehyun most was that many looked at him like they recognized something. The holding cell was small but clean. 3 walls were solid metal. The 4th was transparent, letting Taehyun see out into a corridor where more guards watched him. He sat on the hard bench and put his head in his hands. 800 years. He had slept for 800 years after Earth's sun began to die. The last memory he had was boarding the colony ship with thousands of other refugees. They were supposed to find a new home somewhere in the galaxy. The ship's computer would wake them when they reached a safe planet. But something had gone wrong. When Taehyun woke up, he was alone in a small emergency pod. The main ship was gone. A recorded message said his pod had separated during a malfunction and would take him to the nearest Federation station. He thought he was lucky to be alive. Now he wasn't so sure. A soft chime made him look up. A hologram appeared in the cell, showing a woman with Asian features and kind eyes. She looked human. Actually human. "My name is Dayun Park," the woman said. "I know you're confused and scared. I'm sorry this is happening to you." "You're human," Taehyun said, standing up. "There are other humans here. Then why am I arrested?" Dayun's expression turned sad. "There are 47 known humans in the entire galaxy. We're survivors, Taehyun. The Federation thought they had killed all of us. Your appearance here just proved them wrong." Taehyun felt his legs go weak. He sat down again. "Killed us? What are you talking about? Earth's sun was dying. We left to find new homes." "That's what they wanted you to believe," Dayun said. She moved closer to the transparent wall. "I'm sorry, but I need to tell you the truth. Earth didn't die naturally. The Federation destroyed it. They destroyed all human colonies. They tried to erase us completely." "That's impossible," Taehyun whispered. "Why would they do that?" "Because they were afraid of us," Dayun said. "I don't have much time before they cut this connection. Listen carefully. Humans are different from every other species in the galaxy. Our DNA is special. We can use alien technology instantly. We can survive alien diseases. We learn faster than anyone else. We can even have children with most alien species. So they killed us because we were too good at adapting? Tae-hyun felt anger rising in his chest. Within 200 years of joining the old galactic community, humans held important positions on almost half of all worlds, Da-un explained. Not through war, through integration. We made friends. We married into their families. We helped solve their problems. And that terrified them. They realized that eventually humanity would be everywhere. In every government, every family, every industry. The hologram flickered. Da-un looked worried. They're trying to block my signal. Tae-hyun, you need to know one more thing. Your pod wasn't damaged by accident. Someone programmed it to wake you here at this exact station. Someone wanted you to be discovered. Who? Why? I don't know yet. But the hologram vanished as the lights in the cell turned red. Alarms blared throughout the station. Commander Velthar appeared outside the transparent wall. The Federation Council has been notified of your existence. They are meeting now to decide your fate. I suggest you pray to whatever gods your dead species believed in. Through the wall, Tae-hyun could see crowds gathering. Hundreds of aliens pressed close, trying to get a look at him. Some held recording devices. Others just stared with expressions he couldn't read. He heard fragments of conversations in languages he didn't understand, but one word kept repeating in different voices. Human. 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 A small screen appeared on the wall of his cell showing news broadcasts from across the galaxy. His face was everywhere. Headlines scrolled past in dozens of languages. He couldn't read most of them, but the images were clear enough. Maps showing Earth's location, old videos of humans, pictures of what looked like war and destruction. Then one broadcast switched to Korean. A translator's voice spoke over images of beautiful human cities. 50,000 years ago, humanity nearly conquered the known galaxy. Not with weapons, but with integration. They spread like a virus, infiltrating every level of society. The Federation had no choice but to implement the Purge Protocol. For 50 millennia, we believed the human threat was eliminated. Today, that belief has been shattered. Tae-hyun turned away from the screen. His hands were shaking. None of this made sense. He was just an engineer. He had no family, no power, no importance. He was nobody special. But to the galaxy, he was proof. Proof that humanity had survived. Proof that somewhere out there more humans might be waking up from their long sleep. Proof that the greatest fear of the Federation might be coming true. Tae-hyun pressed his palm against the cold wall and closed his eyes. Somewhere in the station, powerful beings were deciding whether he would live or die, whether humanity would get another chance or face final extinction. He thought about Da-un's words. Someone had programmed his pod to bring him here. Someone had wanted this to happen. But who? And why now, after 50,000 years? The answer would change everything. But first, Tae-hyun had to survive long enough to find it. Hours passed in silence. Tae-hyun sat in his cell, watching the crowds outside slowly thin as station security pushed them back. His mind raced with questions he couldn't answer. Finally, the transparent wall flickered and Da-un's hologram appeared again. I have temporary clearance to speak with you, she said quickly. We don't have much time, so I need you to listen. Tae-hyun stood up. Tell me everything. I need to understand what's happening. Tae-hyun nodded. 50,000 years ago, humanity was part of an earlier galactic civilization. We joined peacefully. At first, everyone was happy to welcome us. We were curious, friendly, and eager to learn. But then they started noticing something strange. What? Technology that took other species years to learn, humans could master in weeks. Alien diseases that killed entire populations had no effect on us after a single generation. We could eat their food, breathe their air, even reproduce with most of them. Our children inherited advantages from both species. Tae-hyun thought about this. So humans were good at adapting. That's not a crime. No, but it scared them, Da-un said. Within 200 years, humans were everywhere. We didn't conquer anyone. We didn't force ourselves on anyone. We just naturally integrated. A human engineer would solve a problem no one else could fix. A human diplomat would help two species understand each other. A human doctor would find cures that saved millions. That sounds good, Taehyun said, confused. It was good, Daeun agreed. But think about it from their perspective. They looked around and realized that in just 2 centuries, humans held important positions on 40% of all Federation worlds. We were in their governments, their militaries, their schools. Our genetic material was mixing with dozens of species. At the rate we were spreading, they calculated that within 5,000 years, almost every species would have human ancestry. Taehyun sat back down. He was starting to understand. They thought we would replace them. Not replace, absorb, transform. They looked at humanity and saw the end of everything they were. Not through war or conquest, but through peaceful integration. They panicked. So they killed us all, Taehyun said bitterly. They called it the Purge Protocol, Daeun continued. They made it look like natural disasters. Earth's sun didn't die naturally. They used weapons to destabilize it. Colony worlds were sabotaged to look like engineering failures. Human ships were infected with viruses that corrupted their navigation systems. Some ships exploded. Others were sent into deep space with no coordinates, just random directions and wake-up times. Like mine, Taehyun whispered. Exactly. They scattered us across the galaxy and erased all records of our home worlds. They thought that without knowledge of our history, without any way to find each other, we would simply fade away over time. Isolated humans might survive for a while, but eventually we would die out completely. But we didn't, Taehyun said. Daeun smiled slightly. No, we didn't. Some pods found safe planets. Some humans survived in hiding. A few were captured but not killed. We're stubborn, Taehyun. It's what makes us human. A new voice interrupted them. Very touching. An ancient being appeared in the cell, its form difficult to look at directly, something between smoke and crystal. I am Elder Historian Vormis. I was alive during the Purge. I voted for it. Daeun's hologram flickered with anger. You have no right to— I have every right, Vormis said coldly. Ms. Park, your visiting privileges are revoked. Leave now. Daeun looked at Taehyun desperately. Don't give up. We're not alone. There are more of us than they know. Her hologram vanished. Vormis moved closer to Taehyun. You want to know why we destroyed your species? Let me show you. The elder touched the wall and images appeared. This was the planet Crescia, 500 years after first contact with humanity. The images showed a beautiful world with 2 suns. Strange creatures lived in harmony. Then humans arrived. The images sped up, showing years passing in seconds. Humans married into local families. Human-alien children were born. Within generations, it became hard to tell where one species ended and humanity began. The Crescians were an ancient species, Vormis said. Their culture was 20,000 years old. Within 500 years of meeting humans, their pure bloodlines no longer existed. Their language changed. Their traditions blended with human customs. They didn't die, but they ceased to exist as themselves. They chose that, Taehyun said. Nobody forced them. Choice? Vormis laughed bitterly. What choice did they have against your adaptability? Humans could do everything Crescians could do, but better. Faster, more efficiently. Why would they choose to stay pure when becoming part human gave their children advantages? You're describing peaceful integration, not conquest, Taehyun argued. It's conquest without weapons, Vormis said. The result is the same. Extinction. We could see the future clearly. In 10,000 years, every species in the galaxy would be part human. All our unique cultures, all our distinct biologies, all our separate identities gone, absorbed into the great human melting pot. So you committed genocide, Taehyun said quietly. We saved the galaxy, Vormis corrected, and we will do it again if necessary. The council is meeting now to discuss your fate. I am here to ask you questions. Answer truthfully and you might live. Lie and I will know. Before Vormis could ask anything, alarms blared again. The elder's form shifted with anger. What now? A message appeared on every screen in the cell. It was written in Korean. Taehyun, my name is Jiwoo Choi. I'm human. Don't trust them. Don't tell them anything. We're coming for you. Vormis saw the message and turned to Taehyun with something that looked like fear. Who is Jiwoo Choi? How many humans are still out there? I don't know, Taehyun said honestly. I've never heard that name before. The system was hacked using old Earth encryption, Vormis said, reading data from another screen. The Federation erased all records of human computer codes. Only surviving humans would know them. This proves what I feared. You are not alone. Somewhere humans have been organizing, planning, preparing. The elder moved to leave, then stopped. You should hope the council decides to kill you quickly, Taehyun Kim. Because if they discover you are part of a larger human conspiracy, your death will take a very long time. Vormis vanished. Taehyun was alone again, but the message still glowed on the screens. Someone named Jiwoo was coming. Someone knew he was here. Someone had hacked a Federation station to send him that message. Da-eun had said there were 47 known humans. But what about unknown humans? What if the Federation's genocide had failed more completely than they realized? More messages appeared, these in different languages. Taehyun couldn't read them all, but he recognized news alerts. His discovery was spreading across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours, every species in the Federation would know that a human had been found. And somewhere out there, other humans were watching, waiting, preparing to act. Taehyun realized something that made his blood run cold. His pod hadn't been damaged by accident. Da-eun had said someone programmed it to bring him here. What if it wasn't the Federation? What if other humans had deliberately exposed him to force this confrontation? He was a pawn in a game he didn't understand. Both sides were using him. The Federation wanted to know if more humans existed. The humans wanted to prove they were still alive. And Taehyun was caught in the middle, with his life hanging in the balance. The transparent wall flickered again. This time it wasn't a hologram. Commander Velthar stood there in person, the crystalline being's colors shifting rapidly with emotion. The council has reached a decision, Velthar said. They will not execute you immediately. Instead, you will face a trial. 3 challenges to prove that humanity has changed, that you no longer represent a threat. And if I fail, then we will hunt down every human in the galaxy, Velthar said simply. And this time we will make sure none survive. That night, Taehyun couldn't sleep. He sat on the hard bench staring at the dark corridor beyond his cell. The station was quieter now, but he could still feel thousands of eyes on him. Somewhere, people were watching his every move on security cameras. The screens in his cell suddenly flickered to life. Instead of news broadcasts, they showed a single face. A young woman with determined eyes. She spoke in Korean. Taehyun, I'm Jiwoo Choi. I know you're scared. I know you feel alone. But you're not. There are more humans than the Federation knows about. Much more. How many? Taehyun whispered, knowing she couldn't hear him. This was a recording. The Federation believes only 47 humans exist, Jiwoo continued. That's how many they found and tagged. But there are hidden colonies. Secret communities scattered across uncharted space. We've been slowly waking people from cryopods for decades. Always careful. Always quiet. There are over 200,000 of us. Taehyun's mouth fell open. 200,000. That was more than he had dared to hope. Your discovery wasn't an accident, Jiwoo said. We planned it. A man named Sung-min Lee leads one of our factions. He believes hiding forever is not the answer. He thinks it's time for the galaxy to know we survived. Time to negotiate for our right to exist. So we programmed your pod to bring you here. Taehyun felt anger rising. They had used him. Put him in danger without asking. I know you're angry, Jiwoo said as if reading his mind. I was angry too when they told me the plan. But not all humans agree with Sungmin. Many of us, led by a woman named Haewon Yoon, believe exposure will get us all killed. They think we should stay hidden until we're strong enough to defend ourselves. Our people are divided, Taehyun, and you're caught in the middle of our civil war. The image of Jiwoo was replaced by a man with sharp eyes and a confident smile. This must be Sungmin Lee. Taehyun Kim, Sungmin said. I chose you because your records showed you were smart, brave, and adaptable. Everything that makes humans great. The Federation is giving you 3 trials. Pass them and humanity gets a chance to exist openly. Fail and they will hunt us down. No pressure. He smiled slightly. I believe in you. We all do. Now a different face appeared. An older woman with sad eyes. Haewon Yoon. I'm sorry this happened to you. Haewon said softly. Sungmin made this decision without consulting all of us. He's risked everything we've built. 200,000 lives depend on what you do in these trials. I won't lie to you, I don't think you can win. The Federation's tests are designed to prove we're dangerous. But if you somehow succeed, maybe Sungmin was right. Maybe it is time to stop hiding. The screens went dark. Taehyun sat in silence, processing everything. He wasn't just fighting for his own life. He was fighting for 200,000 people he'd never met. People who couldn't even agree on whether they wanted to be found. The next morning, guards came for him. They took him to a transport ship. Through the windows, he watched Station Viridian 9 grow smaller behind them. They traveled for hours through space until they reached a massive structure that looked like a planet, but was clearly artificial. "Welcome to Test World," Commander Velthar said. "This facility was built to evaluate dangerous species before allowing them into the Federation. You are the first being tested here in 10,000 years. They brought him to a large chamber. Floating screens surrounded him, showing billions of aliens across the galaxy watching this moment. His trial would be broadcast live. Everyone would see him succeed or fail. A hologram of Elder Vormus appeared. "Taehyun Kim, you will face 3 challenges. The first is the challenge of restraint. The second is the challenge of coexistence. The third is the challenge of sacrifice. These tests will prove whether humanity has evolved beyond the threat you once represented." A door opened in the chamber. Beyond it, Taehyun could see a vast room filled with glowing devices, ancient technology from civilizations long dead. "Your first test begins now," Vormus said. "In that vault are technologies that could make you the most powerful being in the galaxy. Weapons that destroy stars, tools that rewrite DNA, knowledge that would let you control entire civilizations. You will spend 30 days with unlimited access to everything. At the end, you must choose to leave with nothing." "That's it?" Taehyun asked. "I just have to not steal anything?" "Simple, yes." Vormus smiled coldly. 300 species have taken this test. All failed. The temptation always wins. Power corrupts. It's universal law. Taehyun walked into the vault. The door sealed behind him. For a moment, he just stood there, overwhelmed. The technology around him was beautiful and terrifying. He could feel power radiating from every device. One machine caught his eye. The label was in a language he shouldn't understand, but somehow he could read it. Genesis Engine creates habitable worlds. With this, he could build a new Earth, give humanity a home again. Another device glowed with soft blue light. Universal Translator, perfect communication. This could help species understand each other, prevent wars, save lives. Days passed. Taehyun studied everything. He learned how each device worked. The more he understood, the more he realized something disturbing. These technologies weren't just powerful, they were dangerous. The Genesis engine could create worlds, but it required destroying 3 existing planets for raw materials. The Universal Translator didn't just translate, it slowly erased original languages, making everyone think the same way. Every device had a terrible cost hidden in its design. The weapons were obvious threats. But even the helpful technologies would cause more harm than good if used without understanding their full impact. On the 20th day, Taehyun made his decision. He spent the next 10 days not choosing what to take, but documenting everything. He wrote detailed reports on every device explaining exactly why each one should never be used. The Genesis engine, the Universal Translator, the Mind Bridge, the Time Dilator, all of them too dangerous to exist. On the 30th day, the vault door opened. Cameras followed Taehyun as he walked out empty-handed. Elder Vormus appeared, looking surprised. "You took nothing?" the elder asked. "I took knowledge," Taehyun said. "And I'm giving it to you." He handed over his reports. "These technologies are too dangerous for anyone to possess, including you. I'm going to seal that vault permanently." "You can't do that," Vormus said. "That technology belongs to the Federation." "Then the Federation is too dangerous," Taehyun replied. He walked back into the vault. Using the very technology he had studied, he began the process of permanent shutdown. Alarms blared. Guards rushed in, but it was too late. The devices were powering down one by one, their access codes corrupted beyond repair. Taehyun emerged from the vault as the last lights died. "Restraint isn't about resisting temptation," he said to the cameras broadcasting across the galaxy. "It's about recognizing that some power shouldn't exist. Not for humans. Not for anyone." Silence filled the testing chamber. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched in shock. No species had ever destroyed the vault's contents. They had all tried to take something or leave it intact. Taehyun had chosen a third option no one expected. Elder Vormus looked furious but couldn't speak. The rules of the trial were clear. Taehyun had passed. He had shown restraint far beyond what anyone thought possible. A new voice interrupted the silence. A crystalline being appeared via hologram. "I am Ambassador Crestar of the Redemption faction. Young human, you have earned my respect today. Many of us believe the purge was wrong. You may have just proved us right. Commander Velthar stepped forward. The first trial is complete. Taehyun Kim has passed. Tomorrow the second trial begins. The challenge of coexistence. That night in his small room on Test World, Taehyun received another secret message from Ji-woo. You did well. Better than we hoped, but the next test will be harder. They're going to put you with 50 different species and watch you fail to get along with them. Don't try to lead them. Don't try to fix everything. Just be human. That's all we need. Taehyun looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere among them, 200,000 humans were watching, hoping, praying he wouldn't fail them. The weight of it was crushing. But he had passed the first test. Maybe, just maybe, he could pass the others too. He thought about the vault, about destroying all that knowledge. Part of him wondered if he had made the right choice. That technology could have helped humanity, but deep down he knew the truth. The greatest strength humans had wasn't adapting to use powerful tools. It was knowing when not to use them at all. The morning of the second trial, guards escorted Taehyun to a massive dome. Inside was an entire artificial ecosystem. Forests, rivers, mountains, and a small settlement of buildings. It looked like someone had built a miniature world. This is your test environment, Commander Velthar explained. 50 individuals from 50 different species will join you. The colony has limited resources, conflicting cultural needs, and no established government. Previous test subjects either took control by force or tried to make everyone the same. Both approaches failed. How long does this test last? Taehyun asked. 30 days. If the colony survives in functional coexistence, you pass. If it descends into violence or complete chaos, you fail. The other colonists arrived throughout the day. Taehyun met them one by one. There was Vex, a methane-breathing creature who needed special atmosphere. There was Lur, whose species communicated through color changes. There was Grun, a massive rock-like being who moved slowly and spoke even slower. 50 unique individuals with 50 different needs. Problems started immediately. The food distribution system provided meals suitable for only 30 species. The other 20 couldn't eat what was offered. Sleeping quarters were built for carbon-based life forms, leaving silicon-based beings without proper rest areas. The water supply was toxic to 6 species. Taehyun watched fights break out over resources. He saw the confusion when beings tried to communicate, but couldn't understand each other. It would be easy to step in and take charge. His human adaptability meant he could learn their languages faster, understand their needs quicker, and solve problems more efficiently than any single species could. But that's what the Federation expected. They wanted him to prove humans would dominate, so Taehyun did something different. He became a bridge instead of a leader. He found Vex struggling to communicate with Lur about sharing a building. Vex needed methane atmosphere. Lur needed oxygen. They couldn't both use the same space. What if we split the building? Taehyun suggested after learning enough of their languages to translate. Vex takes the lower floor with sealed methane environment. Lur takes the upper floor with oxygen. They share the structure but maintain separate atmospheres. It worked. But Taehyun didn't force the solution on them. He suggested it and let them decide. They agreed, and suddenly 2 beings who were enemies became cooperative neighbors. He did this repeatedly. When food conflicts arose, he didn't redistribute everything equally. Instead, he helped groups understand each other's dietary needs and organized voluntary sharing. Species who could synthesize certain nutrients helped those who couldn't. In return, they received help with other problems. By the end of the first week, the colony had naturally divided into smaller communities. Water breathers lived near the river. Rock-based beings settled in the mountains. Energy beings claimed the open plains. But Taehyun made sure these groups stayed connected, creating paths between them and establishing meeting times where representatives could discuss shared concerns. The second week brought a different challenge. A predator species named Karn began hunting a prey species named Tilm. Both were part of the colony. This wasn't about resources, it was instinct. Karn species ate Tilm species in nature. Other colonists wanted to exile Karn. Tilm wanted protection. The situation was explosive. Taehyun sat with both of them separately, learning their perspectives. I'm hungry, Karn said. The food they give me isn't right. I need fresh meat. It's not personal. It's survival. I'm terrified, Tilm said. Every time I see Karn, my instincts scream danger. I can't live like this. Taehyun brought them together. Karn, what if we could provide you proper food without Tilm being in danger? Tilm, what if Karn helped protect your community from other threats? They negotiated. Taehyun worked with Gron and others to modify the food systems, creating suitable meals for predators. In exchange, Karn agreed to guard the areas where prey species lived, using those same hunting instincts to protect instead of attack. It wasn't perfect friendship, but it was functional coexistence. By the third week, something remarkable happened. The different groups started solving problems without Taehyun's help. They had learned from watching him mediate. They understood that cooperation didn't mean giving up identity. They could remain themselves while working together. On day 25, Ambassador Krestar visited the colony. The crystalline being walked through the settlement, observing everything. Taehyun showed the ambassador around, pointing out the different communities. It's not harmony, Krestar observed. They still have conflicts. They still keep their distance from each other. No, it's not harmony, Taehyun agreed. It's something better. It's real coexistence. They haven't become one people. They've learned to be 50 peoples living in one place. That's harder, but it's also more honest. Krestar looked at him thoughtfully. You didn't try to unify them. You didn't impose order. You just helped them understand each other. That's what humans do best, Taehyun said. We adapt so we can understand. Then we help others understand each other. We're translators, mediators, bridge builders. On day 30, the colony gathered for evaluation. Commander Velthar and Elder Vormus appeared. The Elder looked displeased but couldn't deny the results. The colony functioned. Resources were managed. Conflicts were resolved peacefully. No one species dominated. You pass, Velthar announced. The second trial is complete. Vormus stepped forward. Don't celebrate yet, human. The final trial is different. It cannot be won through cleverness. Tomorrow you face the challenge of sacrifice. And this time there is no clever solution, only a choice. That night, Taehyun received an urgent message from Jiwoo. Her face looked panicked. Taehyun, we've intercepted Federation communications. The third trial isn't a simulation. It's real. They've deliberately infected a colony world with a plague. The only cure requires human DNA. They're going to make you choose between dying to save aliens or letting millions die to protect yourself and reveal humanity's locations. Taehyun felt sick. They infected innocent people just to test me? We're leaking this information to the public, Jiwoo continued. The younger Federation species will be outraged, but that won't help the infected colony. You need to know something else. The extraction process they'll use will kill you, but we have technology that could extract your DNA safely. The problem is it's in our hidden colonies. Using it would reveal our locations. Another face appeared on the screen. Haewon-yoon, do not reveal our colonies, Taehyun. I'm sorry, but 200,000 lives are worth more than one colony world. You must refuse the trial. Then Sungmin Lee pushed into view. Don't listen to her. This is exactly why we need to come out of hiding. Use our technology. Save those people. Show the galaxy that humans are worth saving, even if it means risk. The two human leaders argued while Jiwoo tried to calm them. Finally, she turned back to Taehyun. The choice is yours. Whatever you decide, we'll support you. But decide quickly. The trial begins at dawn. The screen went dark. Taehyun stood alone in his room, facing an impossible decision. Die to save strangers and trust the Federation, reveal humanity's colonies and risk everything, or refuse and let millions die while keeping humans safe. He thought about the vault he had destroyed, about the colony he had helped build. Everything he had done was about showing humanity had changed, that humans valued life and cooperation over power and dominance. But what did those values mean if he wouldn't sacrifice for them? He also thought about the Federation's cruelty. They had deliberately infected innocent people to create this test. They had committed genocide against humanity once before. Could he really trust them to honor any agreement? Morning came too quickly. Guards arrived to take him to the trial. As they walked through the corridors, Taehyun saw something that changed everything. On the news screens, the story had broken. Young Federation species were rioting in the streets, protesting the deliberate infection. The scandal was massive. Ambassador Krestar appeared alongside the guards. The redemption faction is growing stronger by the hour, the crystalline being said quietly. What the Council did to create this trial has shocked many species. Whatever you choose today, know that the Federation is changing. Your trials have exposed cracks in the system that have existed for millennia. They reached the trial chamber. Screens showed the infected colony world. Millions of beings sick and dying. Medical teams stood by with extraction equipment. Elder Vormis waited with a grim expression. Tae-hyun took a deep breath and stepped forward. He had made his choice. Now he just had to hope it was the right one. Tae-hyun stood in the center of the trial chamber, billions watching across the galaxy. Elder Vormis gestured to the screens showing the dying colony world. Make your choice, human. Die to save them using our equipment or condemn them to death. I choose a third option, Tae-hyun said clearly. I will save them. But not on your terms. I will use human medical technology that can extract my DNA safely. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Vormis's form flickered with anger. That would require revealing human colony locations. Yes, Tae-hyun said. It would. And I'm making that choice with full knowledge of the risk, because that's what sacrifice means. Not just giving up my life, but trusting you with the lives of my entire species. If humanity is going to exist in this galaxy, we can't do it through hiding and fear. We need to exist through trust and courage. He turned to face the cameras. But I have conditions. The Federation must publicly apologize for deliberately infecting innocent people to create this test. You must acknowledge that the original purge was genocide, and you must negotiate with humanity as equals, not as subjects you can test and discard. Before Vormis could respond, alarms blared. A group of beings burst into the chamber, led by someone Tae-hyun recognized from the messages, Ji-woo Choi. Behind her were Da-eun Park and several armed aliens wearing Redemption faction symbols. Stop this trial, Ji-woo shouted. We have proof that the plague was specifically engineered to target species sympathetic to humans. This isn't a test. It's a purge within a purge. She threw data files onto the main screen. Information scrolled past too fast for Tae-hyun to read, but the other beings in the chamber clearly understood. Commander Velthar's colors shifted to shock. Ambassador Krestar looked horrified. This plague was created by a shadow organization called the Purity Council, Da-eun explained, broadcasting to the entire galaxy. They're the original architects of humanity's genocide, and they've been operating in secret for 50,000 years. The infected colony is Delmar Prime, a world where 63% of the population recently voted to support human rights. Elder Vormis tried to leave, but Redemption faction guards blocked the exit. Krestar's voice was cold with fury. Elder, we traced the plague's origin to research facilities under your direct control. You didn't just vote for the original purge. You've been preparing for a second one. You're fools, Vormis said. All of you. I've lived 50,000 years. I've seen what happens when humans are allowed to spread. They will consume everything. I won't apologize for trying to save the galaxy. You're not saving anything, Ji-woo said. You're killing innocent people because you're afraid of change. Vormis touched something on its wrist. It doesn't matter. I have a failsafe, an ancient weapon hidden since the first purge. If I don't deactivate it within the hour, it will simultaneously destroy every human colony. The Elder smiled grimly. Kill me, arrest me, it makes no difference. In 60 minutes, humanity dies. The chamber fell silent. Commander Velthar stepped forward. I know where the weapon is. I discovered it while investigating security anomalies, but there's a problem. The crystalline being looked at Tae-hyun. It can only be disabled by someone with human DNA interfacing directly with its control system. The security will kill anyone who tries. Multiple access points must be shut down simultaneously. It's designed to require mass sacrifice. Ji-woo pulled up schematics. 7 access points. We'd need at least 1 human at each location. The system will fight back. Most won't survive the neural feedback. Da-eun was already typing on her communicator. I'm sending an emergency call to all human colonies. We need volunteers. Within minutes, responses flooded in. Thousands of humans volunteered. Tae-hyun watched names scroll across the screen. People he'd never met, willing to die for a galaxy that had tried to exterminate them. A young woman's face appeared on screen. My name is Heejin Kang. I'm 19 years old. I've never even met an alien, but I volunteer because I want to live in a galaxy where we don't have to hide, where my children won't grow up afraid. Choose me. 7 teams were assembled quickly. Tae-hyun would lead Team Alpha to the primary control node. Ji-woo would command Team Beta. Da-eun took Team Gamma. 4 other humans led the remaining teams. Each team included both human volunteers and aliens from the Redemption faction. As they prepared to depart, Sung-Min Lee appeared via hologram. Tae-hyun, this is what we hoped for. Not the weapon, not the deaths, but the moment when humanity shows the galaxy who we really are. Hae-Won-yoon's face joined the transmission. She was crying. I was wrong. Hiding wouldn't have saved us. It would have slowly killed us. Go, save everyone. Show them we're worth saving too. The teams scattered across 3 worlds. Tae-hyun's team reached a heavily fortified facility on a militarized planet. Guards loyal to the Purity Council tried to stop them, but Redemption faction forces overwhelmed the defenses. They fought their way to the control room with minutes to spare. The weapon's interface was a nightmare of ancient technology. Tae-hyun approached it carefully. As his hand touched the control surface, pain shot through his entire body. The weapon's security system attacked his nervous system, trying to kill him before he could disable it. Through the pain, he could see data streaming through his mind. The weapon showed him its purpose, images of countless species it was designed to eliminate. Humanity was just the latest target. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the Federation's leaders had used this weapon to quietly remove any species they viewed as threatening. Team Beta is down. Someone shouted through the communications system. All casualties. But they completed their shutdown. Tae-hyun gritted his teeth against the pain and continued working. More reports came in. Team Delta eliminated. Team Gamma down to 1 survivor. The cost was terrible, but the teams were succeeding. Primary node requires longest interface time, Tae-hyun gasped. Blood was running from his nose. His vision was blurring. But he couldn't stop. Not when so many had already died. Ambassador Crestar was beside him. Is there anything we can do? Just don't let this be for nothing, Tae-hyun whispered. Make sure they remember. The weapon's code was complex, but Tae-hyun's human adaptability let him understand it faster than the designers expected. He found the core shutdown sequence and activated it. The weapon began powering down, its ancient systems failing one by one. As the last system died, Tae-hyun collapsed. Medical teams rushed forward, but the damage was extensive. His neural pathways were burned out. He would live, but he would never be the same. Across the galaxy, the news spread instantly. Of the 247 humans who participated in the mission, 193 had died. But they had saved not just humanity, but exposed a conspiracy that had controlled the Federation for millennia. The Purity Council was destroyed. The ancient weapon was gone forever. In the trial chamber, Elder Vormus watched it all happen. When the weapon was confirmed destroyed, the Elder simply sat down. You've doomed us all, the ancient being said quietly. In 1,000 years, you'll understand why I tried to stop this. Maybe, Ambassador Crestar said. But in 1,000 years, we'll have built something better together. Or we'll have failed together. Either way, we'll have done it honestly. Vormus was arrested along with other Purity Council members. But true to the new spirit of justice, they weren't executed. Instead, they were sentenced to serve in human communities, to see firsthand what they had spent millennia trying to destroy. The infected colony world received the cure. Human doctors, including a physician named Yoo-Jin Song, worked alongside Federation medical teams. The cure was synthesized safely from Tae-hyun's DNA using human technology. Everyone survived. Weeks later, Tae-hyun woke in a medical facility. His body was healing, but the neural damage was permanent. He would have chronic pain for the rest of his life. When he could finally speak, he asked about the others. Ji-woo sat beside his bed, her own injuries still visible. We lost so many, she said softly, but we saved everyone. The Federation is changing, Tae-hyun. Really changing. Da-eun appeared in the doorway. The Council has drafted something called the Covenant of Coexistence. They want human input. They want us to help rebuild the Federation into something better. What about our colonies? Tae-hyun asked. They're safe, Ji-woo said. Protected by the new laws. We're allowed to exist openly now. Some humans are choosing to integrate into Federation worlds. Others are maintaining our colonies. Both options are respected. Tae-hyun closed his eyes. He thought about the 193 humans who had died. Heroes whose names would be remembered forever. They had sacrificed everything to prove that humanity deserved a future. What happens now? He asked. Now we live, Da-eun said simply. We build. We integrate. We show the galaxy every day that their fear was wrong. That humans can exist alongside everyone else without consuming them. That diversity makes us all stronger. Ambassador Krestar visited later that day. The crystalline being had been appointed as the first chancellor of the Reformed Federation. Tae-hyun Kim, humanity's first official ambassador. How does that sound? Tae-hyun managed a weak smile. Painful, but worth it. Outside the medical facility across thousands of worlds, humans emerged from hiding.